Good morning. I am live. How exciting. I'm excited today. I'm coming on a little bit early. I'm going to tell you about the new program, which is go for live now. So we're ready to launch, which is really exciting. So firstly, I'll just tell you a little bit about why I do this every week. So every Thursday, I don't know how many weeks it's been now, I need to count them up, but a very long time. Every Thursday, bar Christmas in the middle, I have been coming on here and speaking to some amazing people in the technology industry. Everybody is leadership in some way, shape or form, and brings such a unique and wonderful story to these conversations. So I have been lucky enough in 20 years to work with a multitude of really impressive leaders. I've seen people come into leadership, makes me feel really old, and grow their leadership careers. And thank you, Joseph. And I just wanted to bring great mentors to as many people as I possibly could. And it's such a great forum being able to do that through LinkedIn Live. So I'm very grateful for those of you who come on and support these conversations. I have been asked if there's a way I can really enhance the mentoring that's going on in these sessions. So I have created a really fabulous, I'm excited about it, membership program. So it's a way of bringing leaders in to connect with one another. It's a way of allowing mentors to mentor one another. There's going to be everything in there, from deep dive conversations on particular topics with leaders. There'll be roundtable conversations where everybody can get involved. There'll be masterminds where we're going to have teaching sessions with some of the leaders that I'm bringing to this program. And there's a wonderful community component to it. So I will be connecting everybody via the community, and we will be sharing value with one another. I will be coaching through videos in that forum as well. And the value in this membership is phenomenal. It's not only a great way to connect, it's a fabulous way to learn. I've been raving on a little bit about mentors recently, and having mentors is so important in your life and your career. Notice the mentors you have had in your life. You have had mentors who are official mentors. You have people who influence you in various ways, like your family, your friends, your teachers. You'd have people that you identify with or who you look up to who you don't even know. So this is an environment where there'll be a combination of those types of mentors. So you're going to have people that you can connect with, also people who will be bringing you wonderful information and knowledge and awareness, who you don't even really know, but they are still mentors in your life. So please, if you are interested in this program, I am launching it with the first month for free. So it is a monthly membership. The full price of the membership is going to be $79 per month. I'm giving you a month for free to come in and have a look. So what you'll need to do is send me a message. There'll be a note at the end of this. And I will send you, if you send me a message. Sorry, I was just captured by the comments for a second. If you send me a message, then I will send you a coupon which will give you your first month for free. Now, I'll come back to this at the end of the conversation. Today, I would love you to get involved in the conversation. It's really, really important to me that this is your time to learn, to ask questions, to get involved. And today I have Steven Farrugia on, who runs ShareTree. And I'm going to bring Steven into the stream now. And then I will tell you a little bit more about him. Joseph, I'm not a coach's coach, but certainly get in touch and I'll see if I can help. Hi, Rena, how are you? All right. Steven, welcome.
Hello.
How are you? I've just realized my microphone is off to the side. Sorry, everybody, if I was not loud. How are you today?
I'm great, thanks. Yeah, great to be here. Love what you were sharing there about the actual network of mentorship and the community about sort of supporting each other. Sounds amazing, something I want to be part of.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited, and thank you. I know that you will be a member, and as will a lot of the other mentors that I've had on the show so far, and I'm really excited to see what it brings for all of us. So yeah, it's very, very cool. Now I'm just going to talk a little bit about you for a moment while you sit there and listen to your accolades. So Steven runs ShareTree. He's an evolution hacker, an entrepreneur, a philanthropist, a business strategist, and advisor. He has a diverse range of experience and knowledge in all aspects of business and has founded ShareTree Group of companies. He acts as a director on multiple boards and with a passion and purpose to help people. And I can tell you, knowing Steven the way I do, this is all more than true. People, businesses, and societies to evolve. I missed the end of the sentence. He's got 15 years experience running sustainable social businesses and coaching businesses and individuals, is highly attuned to character, organizational psychology, meditation, which I need more of in my life, and human performance. Steven's the founder and CEO of ShareTree, as I mentioned, which is a charitable social purpose network. ShareTree and the group of companies are set up to promote fairer wealth distribution by implementing profit businesses that are 50% for charity and have a 30-to-1 income distribution ratio cap business model. There is so much more to what Steven brings. He is a multiple entrepreneur and brings just a wealth of experience and in terms of his story as a leader, as well as what he brings to leaders in the marketplace and helps them with their businesses. So welcome again. That was a big a big intro. So thanks again for joining us. I would love to ask you first and foremost, what got you into leadership? So what was your journey? Did you know you were going to be in leadership from a young age, or did it find you, or what happened?
Yeah, it's a good question. So leadership it's the nature and nurture part of life. And I always had an inclination that leadership was a quality of mine from a very early age through, family interactions and through interactions with my friendship network. And then when I joined karate and other clubs at Scouts and so on. So it was just something that would come up naturally. But it is something that I've refined over time, and with good mentorship and with good practice and with good, learning and development, I've refined it and I've got some way to go.
I think it is a never-ending journey, and that's the sign of a great leader, someone who is always looking for growth and development and knows that they're never at the top of their game. I don't think you can ever quite be there.
I agree, totally.
So tell me, when moving into, obviously you were a natural born leader by the sounds of it, moving into leadership proper. So what was your first leadership role in business?
In business, my first leadership role was at Bosch. So I was fortunate enough to do 16 years of learning, education and development with Bosch. So I left school early. I've got a mild dyslexic ability, I would call it. And I decided that, the schooling system didn't fit me, but I wasn't aware of my dyslexic ability. And in fact, when I moved into Bosch, it's when it was first sort of brought to light. So I was in an apprenticeship working with my hands, more kinesthetic learning. And during that time, I really started to find, a place for leadership. But during my career in Bosch, they refined my skills and I moved into a first dedicated role in leadership when I was managing a production line. So, most of the cars have got this thing called the steering wheel angle sensor in the modern day. That was the production line that I was managing and leading with the team.
You want to get that right?
Yeah, well, it saved many lives across the world, but at the same time, the technology itself is something that was a learning process as well. They didn't get it right the first go.
Yeah, yeah. Hi, Marcello. Thank you so much for joining. Sorry, just we've got a few people from the US on, so I'm just acknowledge their presence. Thank you.
Pretty well, yeah.
That's and so what I think when we move into leadership roles, we tend to it's never quite what we expected. What were the sort of big learning moments for you as a leader, and did you have mentors who helped you through it?
Absolutely. So Bosch was sort of the first time that I formally started being a leader. But before that, sort of organically learning through karate and through scouts and through family and friendship networks. So you're already learning how to sort of connect in with people authentically, inspire them, and support, collective shift for common good. So bringing that into a professional space at Bosch, and then further from Bosch. So I left Bosch 17 years ago now, and I started, my first two companies, and I learned in that process, using your character strengths to get results is a great attribute. But at the same time, what's more powerful as a leader is to inspire and empower the character strengths of all those around you, and attract people that come for common cause. So when I started my businesses, it was really about, attracting people that were aligned to a common purpose, and then learned along the way that I needed to sometimes tone down some of my own strengths. So I'm a very driven person. I'm very visionary. I can see the result, and I've got all the drive to go there and get it. Now, that's great if you're operating as an individual or as a solo entrepreneur or a consultant. But when you work with a team, you need to work to the strengths of others and empower and ignite those. And sometimes it means, just not dulling yours, but just toning down a little bit of your strengths and using your strengths to invigorate and empower others.
Yes, great acknowledgement. And it sounds like you acknowledged it fairly early in your leadership career. I think it takes some people a little longer than that. And so in making that mind shift, so you've started your business, you're going 1,000 miles an hour. What was it that really, was there any particular moment that made you stop and think? And what was it you needed specifically that you needed to change?
Yeah, it was the accumulation of sort of insights that came along the way. And I think I've mentioned to you earlier in a different discussion, one of the first aha moments for me was when I was on Kentucky tour, and I was sitting with different groups of people while I was traveling. So, no formal leadership whatsoever. And I'd sit there with a group of people, and it was like, I don't know why, but I just feel like we're in a hurry. And I'd be like, oh, okay. And then it happened with the second group and happened with the third group. I was like, oh, this is my energy. And good leadership takes a sense of awareness, but also a sense of accountability. I was like, well, how do I adjust that energy over time? And then within the working teams, I saw the same thing. So I would attract at the start people that could deal with that energy, which polarizes the culture. So you get a very skewed culture in a certain way. And what was happening is people that bring different types of energies, some would call them soft, but they're valuable, were falling off, and they couldn't keep up with the pace. So I had to really adjust and tune in, and then make adjustments so that we have a holistic team that gets a stronger result. Maybe not in the same time frame, but always a sustainable result.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, the concept of awareness to me is huge. And it's almost like, I mean, the first thing you have to have is awareness, or you're never going to learn anything, because you're never going to be open to change. And then the accountability piece is so important as well. And so as you've built your teams, how have you made sure that these things are entrenched and sort of learnt by the people who are working in your teams?
Yeah, coaching and mentorship are very important parts of the role. And they're different, as we picked up in an earlier discussion. So in terms of, mentoring, it's really important that we attract people that come for the right purpose. So when we're clear on purpose, if you have a why, you can endure anyhow. So, and by attracting people to your organization, they come with a different energy. When you work with purpose, it's really an endless fuel source, because you're driven by something greater than yourself. So it externalizes the challenges. and helping people become aware of their purpose and then help them actualize their purpose and unite their purpose is really an important part of the mentor. Now, the role of the coach is really about keeping people accountable to that journey, keeping them on track, helping them see things that are outside of their peripheral. A mentor typically is someone that's already been the way and can show the way, and a coach really helps a person go the way.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really brilliant description. And so just what you're saying around purpose, because I know we talk a lot about having a purpose in the business. So you think it's important to connect to individual purpose as well. I mean, certainly when you're coaching and mentoring, it's important to connect to each individual for what's important to them. But you're talking about helping them define their purpose as well.
Yeah, well, if you look at employees that turn up for the paycheck, engagement level by science and data shows that the outcome is not great. Yeah, they turn up, they do as least as required to get their paycheck and keep their job. But when you engage a person by purpose, they're there holistically. They're there with their blood, sweat, and tears. And Simon Sinek talks about this beautifully in his, people don't, buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So by engaging the person by their purpose, and everyone has a purpose, and most purposes are united. So getting clear on that really then helps them understand, well, in the role that I play within the organization that I serve, here's how my purpose comes to life. And here's how I ignite it by contributing and aligning to the vision and purpose of others. So purpose will attract talent if you're clear on it yourself. And if you coach for it and if you mentor through it, it will help the person grow to the maximum potential. But appreciation is what retains talent. So if the best model to look at that would be a charity organization. So we get tons of volunteers of, coached and guided and mentored on different charities myself. And people of the highest talent will come and work with no paycheck because it's about the purpose. But they won't hang around unless there's a sense of appreciation for what they do. At the center of us is to be valued. Our heart is really what drives us. Sense of care, a sense of appreciation, a sense of acknowledgement.
Yeah, right. And for a leader, that's a lot in terms of, acknowledging or understanding this in their team and being able to, fundamentally work with each individual as an individual. I'm watching in the background. My eye is being caught by your what did you say it was called?
A gratitude and acknowledgement platform.
Yeah. And so I love what you guys do around this. So, and you've used technology to really enhance culture in so many ways, in individuals right through to organizations. Can you just share a little bit about how you do that?
Yeah, well, technology is something I love. Some people get scared of technology, but technology's role is really to do, three core things: to make things simpler in your life, to create efficiency in what you do, and to accelerate something that you find of benefit. So what we did with appreciation as a leader, it can be difficult as your team grows. And I experienced this firsthand. When my team went from 5 to 15, I was like, oh, this is getting hard to keep that same level of authentic quality and engagement up. Then when we went from 5 to 70, then I really felt it pull apart. And then you're relying now more on other leaders to replicate and bring a same sense of engagement. So training plays a big role in that. But technology helps you reach further, reach with greater impact, and do it in a more simple and efficient way. So we built a technology platform that allows us just to take 5 minutes a day and appreciate the people that are in your workplace that are doing things aligned to the purpose and the values of your organization. And to make that flourish in an organization, if it's in a one-on-one conversation in a back room, it's great for the two people that are there. But what we found without expecting it was that the observer gets a double dose of that. They emulate in their mind being the sender and being the receiver. And that then creates ripples of gratitude through your culture.
That's amazing. And because I mean, gratitude is a life enhancer anyway, and it enhances in so many ways. And, you know, I always encourage people to write a gratitude journal. It's something that to check in with each day and just look at. Firstly, every time when I open my eyes in the morning, I always think about the 3 things that I'm grateful for. And then before going to bed is actually, writing that stuff down. And so you capture that in an app.
Absolutely. There's different levels of maturity when it comes to gratitude. I mean, the biology of gratitude is so vitally important to understand. If you wanted to build, resilience in your culture or in individual characters, most people go and focus on resilience as the character trait. But in fact, the science shows that if you want to build resilience, you focus actually on gratitude. And the reason why is this: gratitude is the only character trait that creates 4 biological effects in the body. It creates dopamine, which is what you get in high doses when you jump on Facebook and LinkedIn, but that is not harmonized with these other 3. When you express gratitude, it also creates oxytocin. This is what you get a flood of when you do things in community or when you have a child. So it's this sense of connection. It also creates endorphins, which creates a sense of calm so that there's clarity. And that's why when there's gratitude in a culture, you get higher sense of innovation. And for technology-based companies, innovation is one of the key things that lead to their success. And the last one is serotonin. Serotonin fires up our hormones and peptides around willpower. So it helps us endure things. And they found that in an interesting study, actually, where missionaries were working in the most adverse cultures, most susceptible to disease, but they were the least affected by it. And when they looked into it, it was actually all about the mindset and the service of giving and a mindset of gratitude that created this serotonin that boosted their immune systems. It's phenomenal.
That's powerful. Wow. And it's just this beautiful concoction almost of all these things. And in terms of, so my eye was caught on the chat box. Sorry. Hi, Robbie. Hi, Ellen. And hi, Ella. Thank you for joining. And Ella's just said that she loves your message around purpose. That's excellent. I'm not sure if you can see the chat box, so I'll just share that.
Let me see if I can adjust.
So what was I going to say? So, in terms of, I love the fact, I coach leaders all the time around, using these tools, these techniques in their business. And I often see a lot of overwhelm because, like you say, when you've increased in numbers, how on earth are you supposed to be able to connect to this level? And then also there's the COVID situation. And I know you came on a panel with me. It must be a lot of months ago. I think it was something like September.
Yeah.
And we talked a lot about how this stuff can be powerful in a remote work environments as well. And so this it's almost a culture of gratitude that you can bring in, and acknowledgement is the other one. Is so powerful. Can you give me an example of somewhere you've seen it really work well?
Yeah,
and have an impact.
There's many examples.
I bet.
It works on an individual level as well. So one of the earliest discoveries of that was one of the CEOs. I don't know the name off the top of my head, but he did an activity where he'd write a personal letter to every single person in the organization. So there's different levels of gratitude maturity, which I was touching on before. You can start at the lowest levels. I'm just not grateful at all. The next level is I introspect. So I create a mindset and that allows me to be in a state of gratitude. So I will journal and I will introspect, and you can do that before you go to bed, and you can share it with your kids. You share it with your team. What you're grateful for at the start of the meeting is so simple. The next layer up is that I can create a practice of it that's external. So I can start calling out the character strengths that I see in others that I'm grateful for, the things that they do, the tasks that they do, the contribution that they make to your team, and you call it out. And the highest level is that it's integrated into everything you do. And this is where technology plays a role in making that simple so that when you express your gratitude, when you call out, the strengths you see in your team, it becomes a holistic thing that integrates into everyone's benefit.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you say, the person who's the witness is also getting both sides of the equation as well. I've got a question here from Alan. He says, Stephen, how do you see this helping folk in organisations, especially in these such interesting times?
Yeah, so humans have a need around connection, and that's become more apparent than ever during COVID. So, we can work through screens like we're doing now, but what really is at the essence of it is not just seeing and talking to the person, but connecting to the person. And connection comes when we speak at a level that's really beyond the superficial. We get in and we talk at the heart level with somebody about, what are the qualities of that person that they see in you and what you see in me, and how do we endure a challenge together? If you walk together and get an outcome together on whatever project it is that you're working on, it builds bonds, and those bonds are held together by a sense of appreciation mutually. Yeah. So, we've seen examples of it. You don't need digital technology. We've seen companies flourish with paper trees as well. It's just the practice of. We've seen schools that we've worked with as well as companies go from lowest performance, some running a loss, into highest performance. We've seen the schools that are got the worst kids with the most bullying, and the worst rates of depression improve within the worst socioeconomic areas into becoming the best. So it's simple. That's the amazing thing. It's so simple.
Yeah. And I suppose it's simple, but it also involves consistency and being able to sort of maintain it. And I guess it feeds itself once it starts. Nobody wants it to stop. So the consistency kicks in.
Yeah, that's another good point. So you've probably heard of it takes 20 days to break a habit.
Yeah.
That's actually BS. So
I don't think that's true, though. Yeah.
No, so our research has shown it's actually more like 90 days. So with technology, that's the other power of technology. It can help you form habits. So you need to sort of unlearn a patterning that's already there. So the brain's already geared around the amygdala to look for risk. Yeah, it's great if we're going to be attacked by, a bear, or we're in a war zone, then it plays a good function. But we are not in those situations at work. We are there sometimes looking for quality risks of a product or a technology, but the majority of the time we're there to innovate, grow, and serve the customer. So by shifting our mindsets more into the space of being open, we get the greatest results that we could ever expect. And if we get good results, then our life flourishes in all areas.
Yeah, I love all of this. I have something that sort of, I don't know, it comes into my mind when we talk about this stuff, and that is, and it through experience, many leaders and just people generally, I shouldn't just tag it as leaders, can get quite uncomfortable with these sorts of conversations or with this sort of connection. We talked, I know, in another call about the word love and, bringing love into the situation. And we also touched on vulnerability. So what do you find, are there particular things that help people overcome that discomfort?
Yeah. Everyone's sort of had an experience where their sense of self-value or self-worth or self-esteem or self-respect has been damaged. And there's a clip that I've seen before where people pick up, $100 or $50 note and they scrunch it up. It's like you get a sense of, disrespect, you get crushed. But when you straighten it out again, the note is still worth the same value. So your self-worth is actually still fully there, but there are creases in the note after it's been crushed. And those creases, those experiences where our sense of self-worth or our sense of self-respect or our sense of self-value is being challenged, makes us feel a little scared to go and be vulnerable again. But true leadership is having the courage to be vulnerable. And it starts with showing your vulnerability to others. Yeah. And it doesn't necessarily mean showing your weakness. Showing vulnerability means showing them that you're willing to be authentic, you're willing to be open, you're willing to take a risk with them for a mutual benefit. And once that happens, you'll see people reciprocate in the same way, and then the bonds will form.
Yes. Yeah. And yeah, people start to become more comfortable with it, and it sort of becomes just the way we do things here.
Yeah, I mean, you look at your life, and this is a question I often ask on boards with executives, and I'll say, if you want to understand how to get great engagement, great innovation, and great performance out of your team, it's the people that will give everything to the organization. And when you look at where you would give your life, if you were going to give your life to protect something, and I ask people that on many occasions, and their common response is my partner, my kids, my parents, my best friend. And if you look at what's common in all of those, the relationship types are those that you most care for and appreciate. Yeah. So how do you bring that into a work environment so that you've got the same level of bonds? And then you'll see companies that absolutely thrive.
Yeah. Yeah. Such powerful stuff. We're already at 11:57. Can you believe it? And as in time, I'm like, oh, we've got to keep talking. One thing I noticed, by the way, when you said courage, the picture of the lion came up behind you, the eyes, like exactly the same. Did you set that up?
Yeah. It was actually
a courage card. Yeah.
Yeah, it's out of that group. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Now, Tim has asked, what is your personal vision and intention for the next decade, the 2020s?
Great question. My personal vision is to see humanity, I don't do things in small, but is to see humanity build better, fairer equity in society, and workplace cultures that operate with greater sense of mental health, improved well-being, and helping them discover that they go hand in hand with performance. If you've got teams that are in the right mental state, that are connected, and there's a great sense of well-being, performance goes up. And my vision is to see that permeate through cultures globally and empower them with technology. So we made it a charity organization. You could quite easily make tons of money out of this. And this is not about the money. I've got my sense of enough in life. What I want to see is the world empowered through connection, and that we all elevate ourselves. There is so much wealth in the world, but it's just not fairly distributed, and it's not about pulling down the people that have made billions of dollars. It's about gracefully redistributing wealth in a way that everyone gets a sense of enough. If you look at a real tribe of people out in the forest, and if there's 100 of them, you would never see one person in the hard work of all of that hunting, farming, gathering, and creation take 50% of the work. But that's what's happening in human society. So what normally happens is that there's a natural organic flow between that tribe, that everyone contributes in a way that there's fair benefit. Not equal benefit, but fair benefit. And when, the elderly of our society get to the end of their contribution, their natural role is to mentor, guide, and coach people through their succession. So we've lost this somewhere along the way, and we can use technology as a force for good to reconnect us if it's directed that way. That's my vision. It's a bit of a long-winded answer, but you've touched on the passion for it.
Yeah, I love that. And can I just say, I love your compassion and your passion. It's just incredible, and what you bring. I am so excited to have you in the community and in this membership. It's going to be very, very exciting and just inspiring. And I'm hoping you'll come on and do a mastermind for us, so that you can teach some of these strategies, philosophies, and share some more greatness. My vision is fairly succinct in that I want to help more people in more places love what they do and live a life they love. And explicitly, I focus on leaders because I think that leadership can be very lonely and it can be very challenging, and sometimes leaders are forgotten in all of this. It's so important that they get real balance, and there's compassion for leaders as well.
Totally.
Yeah.
For anything, you got to have it to give it. And if I
Yeah.
want to give you money, I've got to have it. If I want to give you wisdom, I've got to have it. If I want to give appreciation to the team, I've also got to have it.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I mean, that's another part of what we'll be doing in this community is we'll be doing some self-leadership work as well, because I think that is probably the foundation for great leadership as well. So I'm this has just been a wonderful conversation. Tim loved your answer. He said that was beautiful. Cheryl's thanked us for talking about the engaging by purpose, the why. She loves that. So we are pretty much at the end of our time today, but I guarantee there will be many more golden nuggets we'll be sharing, and Steven will be sharing in the membership. So if you're interested in what he has to say, please send me a note, and I will send you a voucher for a month for free, so you can have a look around and get access to some of this stuff. And I have one more question for you, Steven, and that is, if you could only leave us, if you could only give one piece of advice to upcoming leaders, and there was nothing else that you could tell them, what would that one piece of advice be?
Oh, that's a good question. One piece of advice. It would be to find clarity of what brings you passion, what brings you joy, and align your life to it.
Yeah, I love that. That's beautiful.
So I'm delighted to be here. I'm excited about this network. Everyone should definitely get on board. Like, together we are absolutely stronger. And what you're doing, Rebecca, is really amazing work. Like, it needs someone to be the catalyst for it. You do it so selflessly, and you do it with such authenticity. I think this is an exciting space to be in, and I'm, looking forward to watching it grow to be something beyond anyone's expectation.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I just need to add, I'm going to model when I've got my new studio space, I'll be modeling yours. It's pretty impressive, the room that you've got there. It's a great setup. It's very cool, and perfect colors for my program as well, because it matches my colors. So thank you.
Well,
for
you're
that.
welcome to use it whenever you like.
Thank you. You might see me pop up in Steven's room. So thank you, everyone, for joining. I really appreciate all of you, and I look forward to seeing you again here next week. Next week, I have Glenn McPherson, who is a senior leader in Dell, and has led businesses in the IT industry for a very long time. I think he's a bit of a rock star. He'll probably hate me for saying that, but I'm really looking forward to having him on next week as well. So thank you again, Steven. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I will say adieu.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay. See you. Just a quick finisher from me to just remind you, if you do want access to 1 month for free of the new program, I am constantly loading data into there at the moment. So there's quite a lot in there already. So all you need to do is send me an email. I will send you a code that you can use and a link. And I look forward to seeing you in the community, and hopefully here next week for another live conversation with an amazing leader. All right. Take care. Have a wonderful week.